Top 15 Most Unusual Items Ever Traded on Pawn Stars. Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Reality Drama. Here are 15 most unusual items traded on Pawn Stars.
Just a reminder of how you can enter our new giveaway in which you can win a new iPhone 12 Pro or a new MacBook Pro. Just leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and watch the whole video till the end.
15. Little Orphan Annie Decoder Pen. This item is a gold embellishments and retro charm. It could be a neat trinket for the right buyer. Therein lies the tricky caveat, though. The right buyer would have to be interested in such a specific item, or as the guys remark, a specific collector of Annie memorabilia. Maybe there's more of those out there than it seems. The pin itself was created sometime around the 30s or 40s when Annie was running as a popular radio program. They would announce over the radio a coded message, and you would use your decoder pin at home to decode said message, hopefully revealing a deep truth about life itself, or at least a fun message pertaining to Annie. 14. One-Man Submarine. Rolling up into the parking lot for this one is a truly bizarre machine. It's a one-man submarine called a midget, and this one's from the 80s. Rick informs us that a fully restored midget submarine can fetch upwards of $10,000, which is hard to believe considering the idea of submarines in general make most people uneasy, let alone ones that fit one person only. Nevertheless, he's intrigued, and granted, it's not often you're going to see a one-man submarine at all, let alone one smack dab in the middle of the Las Vegas desert. This one, however, needs some tender love and care. The seller gets nowhere near his asking price, but manages to walk away with a hefty $3,000, wondering where and how they're going to use this one-person submarine. 13. Sterling Silver Tiffany Walkman. Rick states right off the bat that old electronics are essentially useless, and that remains true, even if they're unnecessarily covered with luxurious silver by famous jewelry maker Tiffany & Co., even if they're gifted by famous member of The Who John Entwistle. While the pedigree on this device may be impressive, the thing plays cassettes. Good luck finding one of those in 2018. The seller, a woman with wild nails and glasses, was once married to Entwistle, which is how she acquired this illustrious Walkman. Sony collaborated with Tiffany & Co. to create these twinkling relics to mark the anniversary of what was basically the original iPod. After some impressive haggling, she talks Rick up from $700 to $1,250. 12. 50-year-old waffle iron. Just the idea of this item itself will cause somebody to go, Why would anybody want a countertop appliance that's half a century old? For decoration, sure, but when the seller asks for $100, it's clear that she feels that this old piece of machinery will help an interested buyer make a delicious breakfast. A simple search online will turn up modern, brand new waffle irons that are half that price, even less. However, Chumley notices that it'll have to be cleaned up quite a bit, and even then it could be a hard sell, and only to a specifically interested buyer. She walks away with a final deal of $50, which is still more than a new waffle maker. 11. 19th Century Tonsillotome. Called a tonsillotome, this terrifying set of scrapers, scissors, and slicers will leave you squirming. The seller gets $800 for one of the most fear-inducing artifacts in Pawn Stars history. 10. Jolly Chimp. You've probably seen Jolly Chimps before. One even made a villainous appearance in Pixar's Toy Story 3. That's a perfect role for these terrifying simians, too. In fact, part of the reason the seller is letting go of her Jolly Chimp is that it scares her grandkids. One look at it, with its blood-red gums, maniacal grimace, and bulging crimson eyes, and it's no wonder why. She manages to walk into the shop at the right time, however, because Old Man has a soft spot for vintage toys. He never turns down an opportunity to wax nostalgic for his younger days, playing with wind-up gizmos. In a shocking turn of events, Old Man actually goes above her asking price of $100 and offers $150. She managed to pass off a nightmarish primate and make a clean profit in the process. 9. Slash's driver's license. The pawn shop is open 24 hours, and in the middle of the night strolls in a man full of confidence, stating boldly, "I have Slash from Guns N' Roses' driver's license." Chumley, left to his own devices, is uneasy about negotiating from the wild asking price of $50,000. He calls in Rick, a big fan of rock and roll, to come down and take a look for himself. Rick is none too pleased to be coming in at such a late hour, but he's nevertheless amused by this wacky find. Rick asks the question on everybody's mind, why would anyone pay $50,000 for Slash's driver's license? The seller assures him that there is a market out there for this. Rick offers $1,000, but the man walks. 8. Exploding die pack of $10 bills. It's always been a strange concept to pay money for money, especially old money with a hole cut right in the middle and filled with exploding dye, not to mention they're tens. Dye packs are still used today to help prevent bank robberies, or at least make it easier to identify the thief. It's pretty hard to make a clean getaway when you're covered in blue or pink ink. They call in an expert to validate the legality of this purchase, and after getting the go-ahead, the seller manages to talk Rick into giving him $175 for it. Rick feels that it's a buzzworthy curiosity that will get people into his shop. 7. Vintage Electroshock Machine. From the Season 4 episode Weird Science comes yet another shock therapy device. Given the odd and painful nature of these machines, it's strange that so many people own them and so many people feel that other people are willing to buy them. But then again, the guys feel that there's someone out there that collects vintage electroshock therapy devices, and with several of them popping up on Pawn Stars, maybe they have a point. This one actually works, and yes, they tested on each other. The seller makes out like a bandit with $75 in her pocket. 6. 1950s Transfusion Kit. There's something eerie about this from the get-go. The seller, a woman with a slightly macabre disposition, states that it's for the lazy vampire and remarks that she doesn't need it any longer. Also strange is her oddly exact asking price of $211. The device itself would make even those with strong constitutions queasy. It's easily portable in a squared-off traveling case, and when it opens up, it reveals a sprawling array of jars and tubes. Simple enough, remove the blood from one person, transfer it to a jar, move it to another jar, and move that blood into the recipient. Old spooky medical devices give most people the heebie-jeebies, and one as truly bloody as this is sure to do the trick. An even spookier exchange happens after Chumley offers $100. The seller gives him the stare and scares him up to a smooth $125. 5. Novelty can of elephant waste. From the appropriately titled Season 5 episode Zoodoo comes one of the more ridiculous items to ever be seen on Pawn Stars, a can of elephant manure. From the second this guy opens his specialized carrying case, the look of befuddlement is evident on Old Man and Chumley's faces. The seller, in a clear attempt at pawn trolling, sets an asking price at an incredulous $10,000. Chumley, still interested, is told that if he buys this can of manure, it's coming out of his own paycheck, so he made it a final deal of $20. 4. Antique duck press. What is a duck press? It's essentially a juicer for duck carcasses. Yep, you put in a dead duck, this device mashes it down into a pulp, and out comes all of the blood and guts. The idea alone is not exactly appetizing, but the device itself is incredibly ornate, and there's an even stranger reason why. This process was meant to be performed at a restaurant tableside in front of guests. Who would want to see this right before their meal? Chumley offers $1,500 for the thing, and the seller actually passes. 3. Odd fingerprints. This one takes the cake. Saddam Hussein was a corrupt and brutal dictator that led one of the most repressive regimes in modern political history. These fingerprints, taken at the time of his capture, are macabre, unsettling, and a little shocking. The seller was involved in Hussein's capture, and was given one of a few certified copies of the prints as a gift. Rick remarks that, normally I don't buy memorabilia that has something to do with really bad people, but he has an inkling that someone out there would be interested. Aside from the sentimental value this holds for the seller himself, why would somebody want this hanging on their wall? Rick is then faced with a conundrum. Putting a price on something so creepy won't be easy. He doesn't offer anywhere near the asking price of $10,000, and the man walks. 2. Ivory Tusk. Pawn shops are known for wading into some ethical ambiguity, but this Ivory Tusk is pushing the envelope. The seller purchased it on a trip to Taiwan, and this had to have been before the ivory trade was as controversial as it is today. Rick can tell right away that it's not even real ivory, it's bone. Not only that, but he wouldn't be too interested in buying real ivory anyway. He doesn't want to get involved in something so political. The seller is bummed to learn that she was hoodwinked on her original purchase, but still tries to attempt a sale on aesthetic value. Rick rejects this and sends her packing, forged tusk in hand. 1. A Marilyn Manson's figurine. Celebrity Deathmatch was a cult hit for MTV at the turn of the new millennium, and goth rocker Marilyn Manson was a frequent appearance to the excessively violent animated satire. He even earned a Grammy nomination for penning a song on the soundtrack. When a seller walks in with an original claymation figure that he purchased from someone involved in the production, the guys at the world-famous Gold and Silver are definitely amused. To check its value, they have it appraised by one of their experts. The original seller bought it for an astonishing $8,000. Its appraisal value is $1,500. While he's bummed to hear this, he tries to haggle his way somewhere near his original purchase price. Big Hoss stands firm at $500, and the seller walks. That's all for this video. We hope that you were amazed to know these unusual stuffs. Thank you for watching the video. Do hit the like button and do subscribe to our channel.